Every single day, he came to school wearing the same old white shirt. Faded, wrinkled, worn out. And every single day, they laughed at him. They called him poor. They called him dirty. They called him worthless. But one rainy afternoon, the same boy they mocked became the reason someone lived. This is the story of the boy who wore the same shirt every day. In a small public school on the edge of town, there was a boy named Ayan. He was quiet, too quiet. He always sat in the last row, never raised his hand, never joined the other boys during lunch, and never looked anyone in the eye for too long. But what everyone noticed was his shirt. It was always the same one. A thin white school shirt, faded almost gray from too many washes. The collar was bent. One sleeve had been stitched by hand, and near the pocket there was a tiny tear he tried to hide with his school bag strap. Every day, the same shirt. The other students noticed it on the first day, and by the second week, they turned it into a joke. "Look, the shirt is back again. Maybe he sleeps in it too. Doesn't he own anything else?" Laughter, whispers, mocking eyes. Ayan heard all of it, but he never said a word. He would just lower his head, tighten his grip on his old books, and quietly walk to his seat. What no one knew was that Ayan's mother washed that shirt every single night. After working long hours cleaning other people's houses, after cooking the little food they had, after helping his younger sister sleep, she would sit under a dim yellow bulb with a small bucket of water, gently scrubbing that same shirt with tired hands. Then she would hang it near the window and pray it would dry before morning, because it was the only school shirt he had. Ayan's father had passed away 2 years earlier. Since then, life had become a quiet battle. His mother skipped meals so her children could eat. Their rent was always late. Their roof leaked when it rained. And sometimes, Ayan did his homework by candlelight because the electricity was gone again. But every morning, his mother would hand him that clean shirt and say, "Wear it with pride, my son. A clean heart is worth more than new clothes." And Ayan would smile, even when his heart was heavy. One Monday morning, things got worse. The class teacher announced a surprise presentation. Every student had to come to the front and speak for 1 minute. When it was Ayan's turn, he slowly stood up and walked toward the front. As he turned, one of the boys in the class, Ramiz, the most popular and cruelest student, laughed loudly. "Careful, everyone," he said. "If he moves too fast, that ancient shirt might tear apart." The class exploded in laughter. Even some students who usually stayed silent laughed too. Ayan froze. His face turned red. His fingers trembled. For a moment, it looked like he might cry. The teacher turned sharply. "Enough," she said. The room went silent. But the damage had already been done. Ayan stood there in front of everyone, humiliated, holding back tears with all the strength he had. He looked down at his shirt, then slowly walked back to his seat without saying a word. That day, he didn't eat lunch. He just sat alone under the staircase, staring at the floor. By the end of the week, dark clouds covered the sky. That afternoon, heavy rain began pouring just as school ended. Students rushed out in chaos. Parents stood outside with umbrellas. Cars lined up by the gate. Children ran through puddles, laughing and screaming. Ayan waited under the school entrance, hugging his books close so they wouldn't get wet. He had no umbrella. He always walked home. The rain became stronger, the wind louder. Then suddenly, a scream. A little girl from the lower classes had slipped near the drainage ditch beside the school gate. The rainwater had overflowed, and the narrow ditch had turned into a rushing stream. Her foot got trapped between broken concrete and metal wire. She was crying, panicking. The water was rising fast. Parents shouted. Students stepped back in fear. No one moved. The water was dirty, fast, and dangerous. and the ditch led to a larger flooded drain just a few feet away. The little girl screamed again, "Help me, please!" For 1 second, everyone froze. Then Ayan dropped his bag and ran. Without thinking about the rain, without thinking about the danger, Ayan jumped straight into the rushing water. Gasps filled the air. "Stop him! It's too dangerous!" But he kept going. The muddy water pushed against his legs. His old white shirt was soaked instantly, clinging to his body. He grabbed the little girl's hand. "It's okay," he said. "I'm here." She was crying uncontrollably. Her foot was trapped tight. The current kept pulling harder. Ayan bent down into the freezing water, feeling around the broken concrete. His hands were scraped by metal. His knees hit stone, but he didn't stop. "Come on," he whispered. "One more pull." Nothing. The girl screamed as the water rose higher. Parents shouted for help. The school guard ran over, but the current was too strong. Then Ayan took a deep breath, placed both hands under the broken slab, and with everything he had, he lifted. Just enough. The girl's foot came free. "Now!" he shouted. He pulled her into his arms and pushed forward through the rushing water. The crowd reached out. 2 men grabbed the little girl first. Then they pulled Ayan out. He collapsed on the wet ground, breathing hard, shivering, covered in mud. His old white shirt was torn badly across the shoulder. But the little girl was safe, alive. For a few seconds, nobody said anything. The same students who laughed at him, the same children who mocked his shirt every day, now stood there speechless. Ramiz stared in silence. His face had gone pale. The little girl's mother dropped to her knees beside Ayan, crying. She held his muddy hands and said through tears, "You saved my daughter! You saved my daughter!" Teachers rushed over. The principal arrived. And there, in the rain, in front of everyone, the principal took off his own coat and wrapped it around Ayan's shoulders. Then he looked at the students and said words no one would ever forget. Today, the poorest dressed boy in this school showed the richest heart. No one looked at Ayan's shirt anymore. Not the tear, not the stains, not the patches. Because in that moment, all they saw was courage. The next day, something felt different. Ayan walked into school expecting the usual whispers, but there were none. No laughter, no jokes, no mocking eyes. Instead, students moved aside to let him pass. Some even smiled. He sat in his usual seat at the back. A few moments later, someone approached his desk. It was Ramiz, the same boy who had mocked him in front of everyone. In his hands was a neatly folded package. Ayan looked up, confused. Ramiz swallowed hard and said quietly, "I'm sorry." The whole class fell silent. Ramiz placed the package on Ayan's desk. Inside it was a brand new white school shirt, perfectly clean, perfectly pressed. Ayan stared at it speechless. Then, one by one, other students came forward. A notebook, a lunchbox, pens, a school bag, small things, but given with real hearts. The teacher stood near the door, wiping away tears, because sometimes it takes one brave act to wake up the humanity in everyone else. That afternoon, the principal called Ayan and his mother to the office. His mother came nervously, worried he had done something wrong. But when she entered, the principal stood up and smiled. He told her everything. About the rain, about the little girl, about the courage of her son. Tears filled her eyes. She looked at Ayan and gently touched the torn shoulder of his shirt. Then the principal said, "From today onward, Ayan's school expenses will be fully covered." His mother gasped. "Uniforms, books, fees, everything," he continued. "And not because we pity him, but because this school is proud of him." Ayan's mother began to cry. the kind of tears that come from years of silent struggle finally being seen. She held her son tightly, and for the first time in a long time, Ayan felt something he had almost forgotten. Not shame, not fear, not loneliness, but pride. Years later, many students forgot what marks they got in school. They forgot who topped the class. They forgot who wore the best shoes. But they never forgot the boy who wore the same shirt every day, because he taught them a lesson no textbook ever could. Never judge someone by what they wear. You have no idea what battle they fight in silence. Some people wear old clothes, but carry the heart of a hero. And sometimes, the person the world laughs at today becomes the one the world remembers forever.